But because they wanted connection with them Badiwe name, you know, and they decided not to do anything about it. And I was quite disappointed. My name is Gloria Elijah. This is Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah, and I am the girl with the T. Super excited to be having this conversation with all of you today. In same season, there are those ones that are quite strategic. And when we talk about strategy, sometimes the most strategic ones might not end up being the winners of the season. Yeah. But it doesn't take away from them the fact that they're quite strategic about how they played their game. So there are also those ones that are quite strategic. When you listen to your conversations, when you see the way they move around the house, you see how they are quite intentional about the things they do, about their actions, about their conversations, about their friendships, which automatically turn to alliances. We see all of these things from certain individuals. Let's talk about the strategists. Now, remember, being a strategist is different from being a gamer. And I need us to actually understand all of these terminologies. Someone can strategize and strategize and strategize. At the end of the day, you don't really get to execute it. So it doesn't make you a gamer at the end of the day. It only makes you a strategist. But do you end up executing what you have strategized? No. And we had quite a number of people that actually did strategize a lot. There was Mayor and Toby and TJ. Mayor and Toby, I said it time and time again in this community that I totally loved these people's conversations. Why? Because they were constantly strategizing. They were constantly discussing, scenarios around the house, how they were going to execute this game, how they were going to play that game. But then sadly, for the likes of Mayor got carried away with, his blooming ship with Ruti. And so most of the things he was strategizing about did not come to fruition. I will never forget one of his diary sessions towards his eviction when he had actually revealed to Big Brother that even though he was with Ruti, he still had feelings for Nelly. And what he intended to do that week was to go ahead and start up conversations for a triangle with Nelly and Suj. I expected him to put a lot of energy into making that happen, but he did not. He informed Nelly about it, but he did not necessarily pursue it. Why? Because I think he became fully invested in what he had with Ruti. And in a way, Ruti had the upper hand in that relationship. I would have called Ruti a strategist, but she was quite emotional. And when it comes to being strategic, there's no room for emotions. When it comes to being a strategist, a solid, powerful strategist, you cannot be sentimental. You cannot allow your emotions to get the best of you. You need to have a clear head. You see that thing Ruti said about, she wants to use Mayor to get immunity because they had the power to evict. That's the custodian power. It worked for her. It worked. But if she was very strategic, well, I think she would have, seen through all of those provocations from Wani and Handy, and she would have overlooked it. But then she got quite emotional, you see, and all of that sort of led to her eviction from the house. Because remember, the twin girls, they were with Sean. Sean was with them, by the way, twins. And so there were strategic conversations about kicking them out of the house, which happened eventually. Now, talking about Toby, well, to be very honest, Toby was very big with words. He was very big with his plans. He had big strategies, but it was quite sad that you almost could not, like you almost could never see him put them to work. It's like somebody saying, I'm going to buy a house, I'm going to buy a car. And 10 years later, you're waiting. Okay, let's give the person a pass. 20 years later, you're waiting. Okay, let's give the person a pass. God's time is the best. And then 30 years later, the person has not bought the car. And you're like, is it when you are in your grave, you're going to buy the car? That was Toby's situation. It was like, it was not happening. It was not just working. So I couldn't classify Toby or even mayor as gamers. But when it came to strategies, they had the game. They had the strategies. They had great plans. And I always, always enjoyed listening to their strategic conversations. Now, TJ. TJ was very strategic, but he did not have the guts. He did not have audacity. TJ was so focused on keeping up with his good boy image, his good husband, daddy of the year image, his good doctor image, that he actually forgot that he was playing a game. One particular strategy that TJ came up with was being the in-house therapist. That was the most powerful weapon in the house this season. The in-house therapist, where everybody comes to you to tell you their problem, where everybody comes to you to share about their affairs, their vulnerabilities, their weaknesses, their worries. Everybody opens up to you because you're a medical doctor. And they see you to be very smart and intelligent. You, by your own hands, created a family atmosphere, a kumbaya atmosphere for people, a safe space for people to tell you things about themselves. What could TJ have done differently? Well, he could have used what they told him to his advantage. Okay, maybe not to play dirty because Nigerians would not like it. Nigerians don't like people that play dirty games, right? Yes. So maybe not by exposing their secrets. That would have been too obvious. But by using the knowledge of what he knows about them against them. Because at the end of the day, the theme of the season says no lose guard. So why would housemates go and be opening up to someone that's a certified doctor? They gave this person the self-acclaimed title of the in-house therapist. In other words, everybody in the house lost their guard. I mean, those ones that actually took their secrets or their worries to TJ, they all lost their guard by going ahead to go and be telling TJ sentimental things about themselves. Oh, if they have any quarrel with this person, they will go and tell TJ. TJ will be the one to advise them. If they have issues with this one, they'll go and seek advice from TJ. They were losing their guard because they should have known that the only person that they could have easily lost their guard with was Big Brother and nobody else, because everybody in that house was a competitor. So that was something that TJ did not see. Or maybe he saw it, but was afraid to use that weapon. He could have weaponized that power he had because that was the most powerful tool he had in that house. He could have weaponized it. But then I don't know, I think he was too cowardly to use it. Or maybe he was afraid or too concerned about his, good husband image. And so he did not use it. Now, to make matters worse, Ebuka now came and, created that negative impression, that the guy was being tribalistic. And then that completely destroyed TJ's game. The guy became a shadow of himself. He crawled back into his shell. He could no longer play the game, if we're being honest with ourselves. Because after that Sunday night, from that night, TJ was literally hiding in his bed. He refused to come out of his shell until much later when he started trying to have conversations with people. And then by the time he was able to clock Onyeka's game and he told her to her face, it was too late. Because by that time, people were tired. And it was time for him to go. But I give it to him though. He was a very good strategist. Oh, and I think this is the part where I need to mention that TJ really disappointed me. How? If we all recall, Ben and TJ mentioned that they were actually fans, or is it fanatics of the show, right? So they met each other in the comment section of a social media platform and they forged their friendship from there. Now, one would expect that for people that have followed this show for a long time, for people that have heavily defended people they supported on the show, when it is their turn to play the game, they should be able to play the game as pure gamers. But sadly, that was not the case. Because TJ and Ben, they are quite sentimental. Especially Ben. I was quite disappointed. I was really disappointed. Ben and TJ recognized the fact that the Mbadiwe twins were, in a way, in charge of a section of the house. They were in charge of the atmosphere of the house. They were in charge of the energy, the kumbaya energy of the house. And they could have easily destroyed that togetherness. But because they wanted connection with the Mbadiwe name, you know, and they decided not to do anything about it. And I was quite disappointed because for me, what is the point of being a fan of the show for years? What is the point of being one of those people that judge people harshly? People who were playing the game during their time. And now it is your opportunity to prove to the world that, okay, what you've been saying on the outside, you can actually play the game on the inside. And then you went into the house and then you did the same thing that you were bashing people for. TJ went ahead to make Mbadiwe twins the godfathers of his twin babies. Ben wanted really bad to work with Mbadiwe twins because, of course, they all roll in the same nightlife scene. And so it just made me realize that, well, sometimes fans of the show who talk much on the outside, when it's their turn to go play the game inside the house, they lose their balls. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fantastic day. Thank you all so much once again for your time. I am grateful as usual. And to those of you that were the silent listeners, the silent viewers, thank you so much for adding to the numbers. I am grateful. God bless you all. I will see you guys on another video soon. Yes, I'm releasing another video very soon, and I look forward to your engagement on the video. All right. Now, all of that said, have a fantastic evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be kind to yourself, kind to those around you, and I'll see you guys on another episode of Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah. Thanks for watching and have an amazing evening. Bye.